So in order to understand the flashbulb memories, you have discussed four different researches in your groups of Brannon, Kulik, Nasa and Harsh, Sher et al., and Kulkovsky et al. Okay, and each of them have a little different thing to say about, or have had different results about flashbulb memory that help us understand and even evaluate it, and see whether it truly does exist and to what extent as well. Okay, so from Brown and Kulik's research, he studied they were the first to study flashbulb memories, and this was following the assassination of John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King. So what they really found was that there was a difference between the memories of John F. Kennedy's assassination and that of Martin Luther King between the African Americans and the Caucasians. Again, the difference was that African Americans remembered the assassination of Martin Luther King more than the Caucasians, and vice versa. This goes on to explain the importance of personal significance in the formation of flashbulb memories. Okay, so this study does support flashbulb memories. So Nasser and Hash, they studied flashbulb memories through students' memory of the Space Challenger crash, okay, which was a spacecraft that crashed almost immediately after it was launched, and there were people who died. So what they found was slightly different from here. They found that there were discrepancies in the memory of their of that event 1 day after the event and 2.5 years after the event. And we know that flashbulb memories are supposed to be enduring and long lasting. So if it can't even last for 2.5 years, then is it truly a flashbulb memory? And if there are so many differences in the details that the participants provided, was it even a flashbulb memory? Okay, and do flashbulb memories exist? So that is what this research questions. But then again, the event that they chose, which was of a space probe to crash, I don't know how personally relevant that could really be. So again, the validity of the procedure is not necessarily great. Okay, Sher et al. In 2007 did a great job by finding a biological way of studying flashbulb memories, and they found that there was more activation in the amygdala when the participants recalled memories of 9/11, which was a terrorist attack on the Twin Towers, and when they compared it to their memory of the following summer. So again, that shows that there is a biological basis for the formation or the storage of flashbulb memories or recall of flashbulb memories. And finally, Kulkovsky found that there was cross-cultural differences between participants from China and other cultures in the formation of flashbulb memories. And it was this researcher who said that the focus in collectivistic cultures often is not of the personal relevance that that event has, rather on the national and the group. So then this leads us to the biggest drawback of the flashbulb memory, which is of its bias and lack of external validity. So one of the most evident concerns with this theory is with regards to its lack of cross-cultural validity. Most of the research supporting the flashbulb memory are only based on negative events of the West, the population of which are considered to be individualistic. So the question at hand is the theory or phenomenon as relevant to collectivistic cultures? Okay, and a little case of something that Mueller in 2013 discusses is of the tsunami in Southeast Asia in 2004, which affected several countries in the region. People were displaced, properties were destroyed, and several had experienced near death. When this happened, clinicians and psychologists from the West rushed to relief camps in Sri Lanka, which was one of the countries that was really affected by the tsunamis. And they were under the impression that there would be mass experience of post-traumatic stress disorder. And from our discussions before, post-traumatic stress disorder, as the name suggests, is disturbance or extreme distress and recollection of a really traumatic event in the past, okay? And this causes arousal or, flashbacks and dreams and just a constant state of distress and stuff in the environment that can be similar to that event can really trigger that person into feeling the feelings or experiences that they felt when that event happened. So these researchers, or these psychologists rather, they thought that there would be a mass experience, that everyone in that area would experience post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of that natural disaster, as a result of that tsunami. Okay, so when they went there, actually what they found was, conversely, what they found was that Sri Lanka, or the Sri Lankan people, were more occupied with helping others and also bringing back their society and their country to normalcy and to recover from the tsunami rather than on their individual experiences. Okay? So such behavior is common to collectivistic culture, where the focus is on the others and the frame of reference is in association with others before oneself or themselves. So the psychologists or clinicians that viewed or tried helping people at these relief camps viewed this as avoidance behavior. So avoiding any recollection of the traumatic event. And this is also a symptom of PTSD. Again, different people react differently, and some people do indulge in a lot of avoidance. So they, again, then related it to PTSD and tried confirming that these people were experiencing PTSD. And again, PTSD is based on a Western construct, and relating this back is not necessarily directly related to flashbulb memories, but it can be. In terms of the formation of flashbulb memories, the event was definitely important and distinct. The participants were all, not the participants, but the people were all in high proximity, and there was personal involvement, but the nature of the consequentiality was different in this whole event, right? An individualist would view this as having consequences on oneself, personal experience of near death, and possible trauma as a response to that. Whereas someone belonging to a collectivistic culture, which Sri Lankans are, would view the consequences as experienced by the group they belong to, their family, neighbors, and Sri Lanka as a nation. This then could mean that even if there was high emotional arousal, there was different beliefs and thoughts which would go on to implicating the maintenance of the memory. Okay, a person belonging to an individualistic culture would probably overtly rehearse and discuss their personal experiences and constantly discuss it, try making sense of it with another, whereas one belonging to a collectivistic culture might be preoccupied with helping others and recovery of one's society over one's personal experiences. So again, a lot of the times there might be cultures that might not even support personal expression, okay? Or maybe there's like in China, you want to save face, or there is a culture of honor, right? So maybe overtly discussing personal experiences or personal traumatic experiences is not necessarily celebrated or accepted. So does that then influence the maintenance of FBMs? And if they did form it in the beginning, did it then go on to be maintained because was there personal maintenance or not? Because overt maintenance might not have been necessarily possible. Okay, so this is a major drawback, and we know from Kulkovsky's study that collectivism, the participants who belong to collectivistic culture, they de-emphasized on personal experience, and the emphasis was on national significance. So then the question is, should the flashbulb memory or the factors that result in the development and maintenance of flashbulb memory be adapted to other cultures, for example, to a collectivistic culture, because there might be differences in the way that we develop such strong memories, okay? And again, from this research, the major drawback was that the question is whether it was that the participants didn't really have flashbulb memories, or was it reporting bias? Again, going to the idea that there are cultural norms of keeping one's emotions to yourself, not really focusing on yourself, were they not willing to talk about it, or are they not used to talking about their emotions and memories on such a personal level? So then again, it goes on to questioning whether the study was valid or even reliable. Okay, so this is one of the major drawbacks of flashbulb memory. And again, questions for this can be discuss, it can be on evaluating the studies, it can be on to what extent as well. Okay.